The warning lights painted everything red inside the research vessel, Luminous Dawn. Rena's 4 hands moved across the control panel, trying to stop the cascade of failures spreading through her ship. Nothing worked. The spatial anomaly they had flown through moments ago had torn apart half their systems like paper. Life support at 60%, announced Paul from his station. The aquatic engineer's translator made his bubbling voice sound flat and mechanical. Dropping fast. We have maybe 3 days. Rena clicked her mandibles together, a sign of stress among her insectoid species. Behind her, the bridge crew of 17 worked frantically. Most were scientists not trained for emergencies like this. They studied peaceful phenomena in empty space, collected samples, wrote reports. Now they were dying in the dark. Communications? She asked. Tim ruffled his feathers nervously. The avian officer pecked at his console with quick movements. Emergency beacon only. Main array is completely destroyed. We can send a distress signal but cannot receive specific responses or coordinate rescue. Distance to nearest council station. 4 days at maximum speed for a rescue ship. Tim's voice dropped lower. We do not have 4 days, Captain. Rena looked at the view screen showing empty space around them. They had chosen this route specifically because nobody came here. Perfect for undisturbed research. Terrible for getting help. She made her decision. Broadcast emergency beacon on all frequencies. Maximum power. Include our position and situation. All frequencies? Paul sounded surprised. That includes the restricted channels. Species outside the council might hear it. Then maybe someone outside the council will help us. Rena activated the beacon herself. A simple repeating message pulsed out into the darkness. Help. Dying. Need rescue. The basic plea that any intelligent species should understand. Hours crawled past. The crew worked on repairs, but without proper parts, they could only slow the deterioration. Medical Officer Quinn distributed oxygen supplements, rationing what they had left. First Officer Bryn organized teams to seal off damaged sections, buying them a few extra hours. Rena barely left the bridge. She watched the sensors, hoping to see something, anything approaching. The ship grew colder as power diverted to essential systems. The crew grew quieter as hope faded. Captain. Tim's sudden voice made everyone jump. Sensors detect vessels approaching our position. Relief flooded through Rena. Council ships? Reading their signatures now. Tim went silent. His feathers stood up straight, the way they did when he felt fear. No, not council ships. Then who? The computer identifies them as human vessels. Military class. 3 ships. They will reach us in 20 minutes. The bridge went completely silent. Even the sound of working consoles seemed to stop. Rena felt her blood turn cold in her veins. Humans. The Death Worlders. Quinn spoke first, his slug-like body pulling tight into a defensive curl. We cannot let them aboard. I have heard stories. Terrible stories. Stories from who? Bryn asked, but his voice shook. Everyone. Quinn looked around at the crew. They come from a world that kills everything. Extreme gravity, toxic atmosphere, predators everywhere. They evolved as hunters. They eat other living creatures. They enjoy violence. The council banned direct contact with them 20 years ago, Tim added. Too dangerous. Too unpredictable. They applied for membership 17 times. Rejected every time. Rena had heard the whispers too. In quiet conversations at council stations, species shared warnings about the humans. Only 3 sentient species in known history evolved on Class 12 death worlds. Humans were one of them. Their planet tried to kill them every single day, so they became unkillable. Strong, fast, aggressive, terrifying. What do we do? Paul asked. If we refuse contact, we die. If we accept contact, we might die anyway, Quinn finished. But worse, they might take us, study us, eat us. Those are just rumors, Bryn protested weakly. Based on facts, Tim countered. Humans are apex predators. They have forward-facing eyes for hunting. They show their teeth when happy, which every other species does when threatening. They sweat poison that would burn our skin. They breathe oxygen in concentrations that would kill half the council species. Rena listened to her crew spiral into panic. She understood their fear because she felt it too. But she also understood their situation. Certain death from system failure or possible death from human contact. Neither option felt good. Incoming transmission, Tim announced. Audio only. They are hailing us. Rena straightened in her command chair. Put it through. A voice filled the bridge. Female. Calm, speaking perfect council standard language. Research vessel Luminous Dawn. This is Commander Hayes of the United Human Space Force ship Relentless. We received your distress signal. What is your situation? The voice sounded normal, almost friendly. Rena glanced at her crew. They stared back at her with wide, frightened eyes. Every species had different eyes, but fear looked the same in all of them. This is Captain Rena of Luminous Dawn. We suffered catastrophic systems failure. Life support failing. We need assistance. A pause. Then, understood, Luminous Dawn. We have engineering teams ready to help. Can also provide medical supplies if needed. Request permission to approach and render aid. So polite. So professional. Exactly what a predator would sound like before attacking. Or maybe Rena had listened to too many stories. She looked at the life support readings. 2.5 days left. 2.5 days before everyone on her ship suffocated in the dark. We appreciate your offer, Commander Hayes. Rena said carefully. We need to discuss internally. Please stand by. Acknowledged. We will hold position and await your decision. Relentless out, the transmission ended. Rena looked at her crew. 47 souls depending on her choice. Accept help from the monsters or die in the silence of space. Some choice, begin crew vote, she said quietly. We decide together. The vote took an hour. 31 crew members voted to accept human help. 16 voted to refuse and take their chances with repairs. Democracy in action, Rena thought bitterly. Democracy that might get them all killed. She opened the channel again. Commander Hayes, this is Captain Rena. We accept your assistance with conditions. We request supply delivery only. No human personnel aboard our vessel. Another pause. Longer this time. When Hayes responded, she sounded confused. Captain, our engineers could complete repairs much faster with direct access. May I ask why you prefer remote assistance? How did one politely say they feared being eaten? Rena chose her words carefully. Our species have limited prior contact. We wish to proceed cautiously. I understand. Hayes actually sounded like she did understand. We will respect your wishes. Preparing supply drone now. It will contain replacement parts and detailed repair instructions. Our engineers will provide remote guidance if you need it. Thank you, Commander. One more thing, Captain. We are detecting 3 more vessels approaching your location. Long-range sensors identify them as Raider class. Known pirates. They are likely responding to your distress beacon. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. We will position our ships to intercept if needed. Pirates, of course. Distress beacons attracted help, but also predators looking for easy prey. At least pirates were a known threat. Cruel, yes. Violent, definitely. But understandable. Not like the humans. The supply drone arrived 30 minutes later. A sleek automated unit that docked smoothly with their cargo bay. Paul and his engineering team approached it like it might explode. It is safe, Tim confirmed from sensors. No weapons. No biological agents. Just parts and data storage. Paul opened the drone carefully. Inside, precisely organized, sat every component they needed. Not cheap substitutes or improvised patches. Perfect replacements manufactured to exact specifications. Better than what the Council provided their research vessels. How did they make these so fast? Paul wondered aloud, picking up a power coupling. This quality requires industrial fabricators. The precision is remarkable. They are Deathworlders, Quinn muttered. Everything about them is remarkable and terrifying. The repair instructions were equally impressive. Clear diagrams, step-by-step procedures, written in 5 different Council languages. The humans had prepared for multiple species with different visual and cognitive processing. Paul and his team started working. The human parts fit perfectly. Installation went smoothly. Life support began recovering. Paul found himself grudgingly impressed despite his fear. Luminous Dawn, this is Relentless, Hayes called after 2 hours. We are monitoring your repairs. You are making excellent progress. Estimated life support restoration in 4 more hours at current pace. Confirmed, Rena replied. Your parts are very effective. Glad to help. Advising you that the pirate vessels have altered course. They are definitely targeting your position. Should reach you in 4 hours. Before your repairs finish. Rena felt her mandibles click together rapidly. What do you suggest? We suggest you continue repairs. We will handle the raiders. There are 5 pirate ships. You only have 3 vessels. A new voice joined the channel. Male. Amused. Captain Rena. This is Lieutenant Foster from Relentless. Respectfully, we appreciate your concern, but 5 raiders are not a significant threat. We will keep them away from you. You focus on your ship. The arrogance stunned Rena. 5 against 3, and the humans sounded confident. Not worried. Not even cautious. Just matter of fact. Like fighting was normal. Natural. Expected. Because for Deathworlders it probably was. 3 hours later, alarms shrieked across the luminous dawn. The pirates had arrived early, moving faster than predicted. Rena watched her sensors as 5 raider ships dropped from FTL directly between her vessel and the human fleet. "This is Captain Vorch of the Crimson Void," a harsh voice announced. "Damaged research vessel. You will transfer all cargo and research data immediately. Comply and you live. Refuse and you die." Before Rena could respond, Hayes cut in. "Crimson Void, this is Commander Hayes of UHSF Relentless. The research vessel is under our protection. Depart immediately." Vorch laughed. Ugly, cruel sound. "Under your protection? 3 human ships? We are 5. And we know you cannot fire on us without Council approval. Your species is not authorized for military action in Council space." "You are correct," Hayes agreed calmly. "We are not authorized for military action against Council vessels. But you are pirates, not Council vessels. You have no protection or rights here. Last warning. Depart now. Make us, Deathworlder. Everything happened fast." The 3 human ships moved in perfect coordination, forming a protective triangle around luminous dawn. The raider ships charged weapons and accelerated forward. Rena watched in horror as the battle began. Human ships moved with brutal efficiency. No wasted motion. No hesitation. They maneuvered in ways that should have been impossible, pulling acceleration that would crush most species. "How are they surviving those forces?" Tim whispered, watching his sensor data. "My instruments show 15 gravities in some of those turns. Nothing should survive that." "Death world evolution," Bryn said quietly. "Higher gravity on their planet. Their bodies adapted. They do not feel those forces like we would." The human weapons were equally shocking. Kinetic accelerators that fired solid metal at impossible speeds. Missiles tipped with nuclear warheads. Energy weapons that burned with the heat of stars. Things the Council banned as too dangerous, too destructive, too violent. But humans used them with surgical precision. They targeted engines, weapons, critical systems, disabling shots, not killing blows. Even in battle, they held back. 2 raider ships exploded despite the restraint. Their own weapons detonated from damage. A 3rd lost all power and drifted helplessly. The last 2 broke formation, trying to flee. "Crimson Void, this is Relentless," Hayes called. "Cut your engines and prepare to be boarded. You are under arrest for piracy, attempted murder, and assault on a protected vessel." "We surrender," Vorch shouted. "Please do not kill us." The fear in the pirate's voice was real, raw, absolute. Whatever he knew about humans, it terrified him more than execution. The human ships moved to secure the raiders. Rena watched her sensors as boarding teams transferred to the pirate vessels. Armed humans, trained soldiers, moving through enemy ships like they owned them. Within an hour, all surviving pirates were in human custody. The 2 destroyed ships had no survivors. The other 3 surrendered crews sat in human holding cells waiting for transport to Council authorities. "Captain Rena," Hayes called. "Threat is neutralized. You are safe to complete your repairs. We will escort you to the nearest Council station and transfer the prisoners there." "You captured them," Rena said slowly. "You are not keeping them." Hayes sounded genuinely surprised. "Of course not. They committed crimes in Council space against a Council vessel. Council law applies. We are just holding them until proper authorities can take custody." Quinn spoke up from his medical station. "The injured pirates. What will you do with them?" "Treating their wounds. We have medical facilities aboard Relentless. Once stabilized, they will join the others in holding." "You would heal those who tried to kill you?" Quinn could not hide his confusion. "They are prisoners now, not enemies. They deserve medical care like anyone else." Hayes paused. "Is that unusual?" Rena looked at her crew. They all wore the same expression: shock, confusion, disbelief. The terrifying Deathworlders fought like demons but treated their enemies with mercy. Nothing made sense anymore. "No, Commander," Rena lied. "Not unusual. Just unexpected. Thank you for your assistance." "Our pleasure, Captain. That is what we do." Repairs were nearly complete when everything went wrong again. Paul worked in the engineering section with 2 assistants installing the final power coupling. The human parts had performed beyond expectations. Life support was at 90% and climbing. They would survive. Then the coupling sparked. Not just a small spark, a massive electrical discharge that arced across the entire panel. Paul jerked back, but his assistant Nira was not fast enough. The shock threw her across the room. Emergency, Paul's translator crackled over the ship-wide channel. Cooling system failure. Radiation leak in engineering. 3 crew trapped, levels rising fast. Rena felt her world collapse again. They had been so close to safety. Now poison filled her ship, invisible death spreading through the lower decks. Seal engineering, she ordered. Evacuate surrounding sections. Captain Paul and his team are still inside, Bryn protested. I know. Rena's voice broke. But we cannot risk the whole ship. Seal it. Them worked his console with shaking hands. Radiation at level 7 and climbing. Fatal to all council species. They have maybe 10 minutes before exposure kills them. We do not have protective gear for those levels, Quinn said helplessly. Nothing we have can shield against that much radiation. They are already dead, the channel crackled. Luminous Dawn, this is relentless. We are monitoring your situation. We can help, Rena wanted to scream. Of course the humans were monitoring them. Watching everything. Seeing their failure. Commander Hayes, unless you have radiation suits that can handle level 7 and climbing, there is nothing you can do. Actually, we do have such suits. Our boarding team uses them regularly. I can send 5 personnel to extract your crew. Every eye on the bridge turned to Rena. Let the humans aboard. Let the Deathworlders onto her ship. Into the corridors. Close to her crew. Everything they had feared from the beginning. But Paul was dying. Nira was dying. Young Tech was dying. 3 people who trusted her to keep them safe. Permission granted, Rena said. Airlock 7 is closest to engineering. Acknowledged. Team departing now. ETA 4 minutes. Those 4 minutes felt like hours. Rena watched the radiation levels climb. Level 8. Level 9. Fatal several times over. In engineering, Paul tried to keep Nira conscious while Tech worked desperately to seal the leak with tools that melted in his hands. Human transport docking. Tim announced. His feathers were completely flat against his body. Fear response of his species. The airlock cycled. Rena switched the monitor to internal cameras. 5 figures emerged into her ship, large, very large. The radiation suits added bulk, but underneath she could see powerful builds. Humans were taller than most council species. Heavier, more muscular. Even trying not to, they looked dangerous. Lieutenant Foster to Luminous Dawn, the leader said. We are aboard and proceeding to engineering. Please maintain the seal until we have secured your crew. The team moved through the corridors in single file. They had to duck under some doorways built for smaller species. Their heavy boots thudded against the deck plating. Equipment hung from their suits, tools and devices Rena did not recognize. Level 12 radiation, Tim whispered. Nothing should survive that, nothing. But the humans walked into it like it was nothing. The monitor showed them entering engineering, moving through the contaminated space without hesitation. Level 15? Level 18. Enough radiation to kill most species in seconds. Located your crew, Foster reported. His voice was steady, calm, like he was taking a walk instead of swimming in poison. 2 conscious, 1 unconscious. Beginning extraction. Through the camera, Rena watched a human kneel beside Nira. Gentle movements. Careful. The human's gloved hands looked huge next to Nira's small frame, but they moved with surprising delicacy. He lifted her like she weighed nothing, cradling her against his chest. Another human helped Paul while a third carried Tech. The remaining 2 worked on the radiation leak itself, sealing it with human tools and materials. Leak contained, Foster announced. Levels dropping. Extracting casualties now. They carried Rena's crew through the poisoned air like it meant nothing. Level 20 radiation. Level 25. Enough to kill anything. But humans just walked through it, protecting the fragile beings in their arms. The team exited engineering and headed for the medical bay. Quinn waited there, preparing what treatments he could. When the humans arrived, he froze. Up close, they were enormous. Even hunched to fit through doorways, they towered over Quinn. Their suits hissed as they moved, servos helping support the weight of shielding. But their movement stayed gentle as they laid the injured crew on medical beds. Where do you want them? Foster asked. Quinn pointed with a shaking appendage. The humans positioned each patient carefully, making sure they were comfortable before stepping back. We have a medic with our team, Foster continued. Dr. Chen, she can assist if you allow it. Please, Quinn managed. One of the humans removed her helmet. Quinn flinched, expecting a monster. Instead, he saw a woman's face. Dark skin, kind eyes. She smiled, and Quinn remembered humans showed teeth when happy. Not a threat. A greeting, hello, Chen said softly. I am here to help. May I examine your patients? Yes, please. Chen worked alongside Quinn, explaining everything she did. She asked permission before touching anyone, warned them before using any device, answered every question Quinn stammered out. Her hands were steady, professional, and impossibly gentle. Nira woke up confused and terrified. A human face hovered over her. She screamed. Hey, it is okay, Chen said immediately, backing away. You are safe. I am a doctor. Just checking your health. You had an accident, but you will be fine. Nira stared at her, breathing fast. Quinn slid closer. She speaks truth. The humans rescued you from engineering. Saved your life. Saved? Nira looked from the human to Quinn and back. Saved me? Chen nodded. You were in danger. We got you out. Now we make sure you are healthy. Paul regained consciousness next. He saw Chen and actually laughed, a bubbling sound through his translator. A human doctor, of course. This day keeps getting stranger. How do you feel? Chen asked. Like I was electrocuted and drowned in radiation. Paul moved his limbs experimentally. But alive. Thank you. Just doing my job. Chen checked his readings. Radiation exposure was high, but you should recover fully. We gave you some medication that will help. Foster and his team finished their work in engineering. Radiation levels were back to normal. The leak was permanently sealed. They had done in 20 minutes what should have taken days with proper equipment. Repairs complete, Foster reported to Rena over the channel. Your engineering section is secure. We will return to Relentless now unless you need additional assistance. Rena watched the monitors as the human team gathered near the airlock. They moved carefully through her ship, aware of their size and strength. They had saved her crew without hesitation, walked through radiation that should have killed them, treated injuries with expert care, and they were leaving now without asking for anything in return. Lieutenant Foster, Rena called. Please wait. The team stopped. Yes, Captain? I want to thank you personally. Will you come to the bridge, just you, if that is acceptable? A pause. Then, I would be honored, Captain. Foster arrived alone, his radiation suit removed. Rena saw a human for the first time without barriers between them. Tall, muscular. His face showed features built for a predator. Forward-facing eyes, strong jaw, but his expression was open, friendly. He smiled carefully, keeping his teeth covered. Thank you, Rena said simply. You saved them. Anyone would have done the same. No, Rena clicked her mandibles. Most would not have. Could not have. You walked through radiation that kills instantly. Foster shrugged. Earth has radiation too. Natural background levels. We evolved some resistance. Our suits do the rest. Why help us? We are strangers. Different species. We were afraid of you. Foster's expression softened. I know you were afraid. We could tell. That is why we tried to be careful. Stay back, ask permission. We know humans look scary to other species. You are not scary, Rena said, surprising herself. You are different, but not scary. Not anymore. The journey to the nearest council station would take 3 days. Rena had not expected the invitation from Commander Hayes, but she accepted. A formal dinner aboard Relentless. Cultural exchange between species. A chance to understand the humans better. Bryn accompanied her as first officer. They took a small shuttle across the void between ships. The human vessel grew larger as they approached. Angular, aggressive, built for war, but also beautiful in a strange way. Efficient, powerful, honest about what it was. The docking procedure was smooth. Human crew guided them in with professional courtesy. When the airlock opened, Hayes herself waited there. She was smaller than Foster, which still meant tall by council standards. Her uniform was neat, decorated with symbols Rena did not recognize. Probably military honors. But her smile seemed genuine. Captain Rena, First Officer Bryn, welcome aboard Relentless. Hayes extended her hand. A human greeting Rena had read about. She touched Hayes's hand carefully with one of her own. Warm, strong, but controlled. Hayes led them through the ship's corridors. Human crew moved past them, going about their duties. Each one nodded respectfully as they passed. Curious glances, but no hostility. No aggression. Just people working. Your crew is very disciplined, Bryn observed. We try, Hayes said. Military service requires order. But we are still human. Later you might hear us joking or arguing. We are not always formal. The dining area was a small room, simply furnished. Hayes had arranged for food compatible with their species. Simple proteins and carbohydrates. Nothing fancy but clearly researched. She cared enough to make sure they could eat safely. They sat at a table built for humans, which meant Rena and Bryn's feet did not touch the floor. Hayes noticed and immediately brought cushions to help them sit comfortably. I apologize, she said. We do not often have non-human guests. I should have prepared better seating. It is acceptable, Rena assured her. We appreciate the effort. They ate in awkward silence at first. Hayes tried several conversation topics. The weather on their homeworlds. Scientific research. The quality of the food. Everything felt forced. Finally, Rena decided to ask what she really wanted to know. Commander Hayes, why do humans help other species? You gain nothing from rescuing us. Your kind has been rejected by the Council repeatedly, yet you still respond to distress calls? Hayes set down her utensil carefully. That is a complicated question. But I will try to answer honestly. She took a breath. Humans come from a difficult world. Earth is beautiful but deadly. Extreme weather. Dangerous animals, diseases, natural disasters. For most of our history, survival was not guaranteed. Bryn shifted uncomfortably. We have heard this. A Class 12 death world, one of the most hostile environments known to produce intelligent life. Yes, Hayes agreed. Earth tried to kill us constantly, so we learned to work together. Cooperation was the only way to survive. We formed groups, families, tribes, nations. We protected each other because alone we died. She looked at both of them directly. That instinct never left us. When we reached space and found other species, we saw ourselves. Different bodies, different cultures, but still people trying to survive in a dangerous universe. How could we not help? But the Council rejected you, Rena said. 17 applications for membership. All denied. Does that not make you angry? Hayes smiled sadly. Angry? Sometimes hurt. Definitely. But we understand why. We know how we look to other species, big, aggressive, frightening. We evolved to hunt and fight because Earth demanded it. That scares people. Yet you continue to help anyway, because it is the right thing to do. Hayes said it so simply, like it was obvious. The Council's fear does not change who we are. We are protectors, helpers. That is what humans do. We see someone in trouble, we help. Simple as that. Rena felt something shift in her understanding. All the stories about humans. All the fear. It missed the most important part. Humans were dangerous, yes, but they chose not to be. They had the power to destroy but used it to protect instead. Tell me about Earth, Bryn said suddenly. Your homeworld. What is it like? Hayes' expression brightened. Beautiful, terrifying, both at once. She pulled out a small device and projected images above the table. Rena and Bryn watched in amazement. Massive storms that could destroy cities. Oceans so deep and vast they seemed endless. Mountains that pierced the clouds. Forests filled with creatures that would kill without hesitation. Deserts that burned under twin suns. Wait, no, one sun. Just very bright. This is where you evolved? Bryn sounded shocked. How did anything survive? Carefully, Hayes said with a laugh. And with a lot of help from each other. Humans are not the strongest species on Earth. Or the fastest. Or the best at anything specific. But we are persistent. Adaptable, we work together. That made us successful. She showed more images. Human families, children playing, art, music, cities, culture, the soft side of the species. Not warriors, just people. You have families, Rena said. Love, joy like any species? Of course. Hayes looked confused. Did you think we did not? The stories we heard, Bryn admitted. They made you sound like monsters, violent, cruel, without feeling. Hayes' expression grew sad. We are violent when necessary. Our world taught us to fight. But it also taught us to love fiercely, protect our own, care for the weak. We are not monsters, just different. She closed the projection. May I ask you something, Captain? Please. Why were you so afraid of us? Not just cautious. Truly terrified. I saw it in your crew's faces, heard it in your voices. What have you been told about humans? Rena considered lying. being diplomatic. But Hayes had been honest with her. She deserved honesty in return. We were told humans are apex predators, that you hunt for pleasure. Eat living creatures. Your planet's gravity would crush most species. Your atmosphere is toxic. You sweat acid. Your diseases would kill us. You enjoy violence and war. You smile by showing teeth, which is a threat display for most species. She paused. We were told that humans are not just dangerous. You are wrong. Unnatural. A species that should not exist but does anyway. That makes you terrifying. Hayes listened without interrupting. When Rena finished, she sat quietly for a moment. Some of that is true, Hayes admitted. We are predators. We do eat meat, though not exclusively. Our world is harsh. We are adapted for high gravity and oxygen levels dangerous to others. We do fight when needed, she met Rena's eyes. But we are not wrong. Not unnatural. We are just different. Earth made us what we are. We cannot change our nature. But we can choose our actions. We choose to help. To protect. To be kind when possible and fierce only when necessary. I believe you, Rena said. And she realized she meant it. Bryn spoke up. The pirates you captured. One was badly injured. Critical condition. What will happen to him? Hayes checked a datapad. Dr. Chen is operating now, trying to stabilize him, but he is a different species, and an enemy. Why waste resources on him? Because he is a person, Hayes said simply. Enemy or not, he deserves medical care. That is what we do. 3 hours later, an alert came through. The injured pirate's condition had worsened. Chen requested permission to attempt an experimental procedure. High risk, might fail, but the only chance. Hayes authorized it immediately. Rena and Bryn watched from the medical bay observation window as Chen worked for 6 hours straight. No breaks, no rest, focused entirely on saving a life. The pirate survived. Barely. Chen looked exhausted but satisfied. You saved someone who tried to kill you, Rena said to Hayes. Yes. Why? Hayes smiled. Because that is what humans do. The council station appeared on sensors 12 hours before arrival. A massive structure hanging in space, home to 17 different species. Diplomatic hub. Trade center. Military outpost. Everything important happened here. Rena expected a normal approach. Dock. Transfer prisoners. File reports. Maybe a brief thank you to the humans before they left. Simple. Then Thim's console exploded with warnings. Captain, sensors detect multiple vessels approaching the station. Council military. 17 ships in defensive formation. His voice climbed higher. They are powering weapons. Rena felt cold dread. Why would they do that? Reading communication traffic now. Thim listened to his translator. They know humans are here. Someone reported human military vessels escorting a council ship. They think we are hostages. Bryn cursed in his native language. They think the humans captured us. Of course they did. Decades of fear and prejudice. Rumors about the Death Worlders. When the council saw human warships approaching one of their research vessels, they assumed the worst. Incoming transmission from council fleet. Thim announced. Admiral Kess commanding. Rena knew Kess. Same species as her. Older. Military career spanning 40 years. Honorable but rigid. Not someone who would listen easily. The transmission came through. Kess's face filled the screen. 4 mandibles clicked rapidly. Angry. Unidentified human vessels, you are in council space without authorization. Release the research vessel Luminous Dawn immediately, or we will open fire. Hayes responded calmly. Admiral Kess, this is Commander Hayes of UHSF Relentless. We responded to a distress call from Luminous Dawn. Provided emergency assistance and escort. No hostiles here. You expect me to believe that? Kess's voice was sharp. Humans helping a council vessel? More likely you manufactured the emergency to capture them. Admiral, please, Rena cut in. Commander Hayes speaks the truth. They saved us, rescued my crew, drove off pirates. We are here voluntarily. Silence. Then Kess spoke slowly. Captain Rena, are you under duress? Blink twice if you are being coerced. I'm not under duress. The humans are not our captors. They are our rescuers. Respectfully, Captain, you may be experiencing defensive rationalization, a psychological response to captivity. It is not your fault, Rena wanted to scream. I am not suffering from psychological damage. I know what happened on my own ship. Then explain why human military vessels are escorting you, why they have prisoners in their holding cells. Why they are armed and in council space, Hayes tried again. Admiral, we responded to a legitimate distress call. Provided aid under maritime law, which applies in space. The prisoners are pirates who attacked Luminous Dawn. We are transporting them to you for proper trial under council law. How convenient. You arrive with prisoners and a story. No witnesses except your alleged victims who seem remarkably calm for hostages. This was going nowhere. Rena could see it. Kess had already decided humans were guilty. Nothing they said would change her mind. Admiral Kess, Hayes said carefully, we do not want conflict. Our ships will hold position. You can send a team to inspect Luminous Dawn. Interview the crew separately. We will cooperate fully. You will surrender your vessels for inspection as well. Hayes hesitated. Our ships contain classified military technology. We cannot allow foreign inspection without authorization from our government. Then you admit you have something to hide. We admit we have security protocols like any military. Hayes's voice stayed level, professional. But Rena heard the frustration underneath. We are trying to cooperate, Admiral. Cooperation would be surrendering immediately. 17 council ships, 3 human vessels. The numbers were bad, but Rena remembered the pirate battle. Remembered how easily 3 human ships defeated 5 raiders. Would the council fare better? She did not want to find out. Admiral Kess, I request permission to dock at the station, Rena said. Allow my crew to testify in person. Let them tell you what happened, Kess considered. Approved. But the human vessels will remain outside the defense perimeter. Any aggressive movement will be met with force. Understood, Hayes agreed. Luminous Dawn separated from the human fleet. Rena felt exposed suddenly. Vulnerable. The human ships had protected them for 3 days. Now they were alone again. The station's docking bay was huge. Rena's small research vessel looked tiny inside it. Station security met them immediately. Armed. Cautious. Treating her crew like victims who might also be compromised. They were separated for individual interviews. Standard procedure. Prevent collaboration on false stories. Rena understood the logic even as it frustrated her. Her interview room was small. Plain. Uncomfortable. 2 security officers sat across from her. One was her species, one was not. Both looked skeptical. Tell us what happened, the first officer said. Rena told the truth, all of it, the distress call, the human response, their fear, the rescue, the battle, the medical care, the kindness, everything. The officers listened without comment. When she finished, they exchanged glances. You understand this sounds unlikely, the second officer said. Humans helping strangers, showing mercy to enemies, asking permission. It contradicts everything we know about them. Everything you think you know, Rena corrected. Built on rumors and fear, not facts. The facts are they are death worlders. Apex predators, dangerous, yes, Rena agreed. And they chose to use that danger to protect us, not harm us. The interviews took hours. Each crew member told the same story. Consistent, detailed, honest. 47 witnesses all saying the same thing. The humans helped them, but still the council hesitated. Admiral Kess called a meeting in the station's main council chamber. Rena and her senior officers attended. So did representatives from a dozen council species, and surprisingly, Commander Hayes. You allowed her on the station? Rena asked. Under heavy guard, Kess replied. She requested to address the council. We agreed to hear her. The chamber was impressive. Tiered seating for different species. Translation systems. Holographic displays. Democracy in action. Usually. Hayes stood in the center alone. Dozens of council members stared down at her. She looked small despite her height. One human facing the combined judgment of multiple species. Members of the council, Hayes began. I understand your concerns. Humans are new to interstellar politics. We come from a world you consider hostile. We look dangerous. Act dangerous. Are dangerous, she paused. But dangerous does not mean evil. We are what Earth made us. Strong because we had to be. Fierce because anything less meant death. But we are also compassionate, loyal, protective, because those traits also helped us survive. Pretty words, said Counselor Dren, a reptilian species. But words are easy. Actions matter. I agree, Hayes said. So judge us by our actions. We heard a distress call. We responded. We provided aid. We protected the helpless. We showed mercy to enemies. These are our actions. Judge us by them. Another counselor spoke up. You want council membership. You have applied 17 times, always rejected. Why keep trying? Hayes met his eyes. Because we believe in what the council represents. Peace, cooperation, different species working together. That is what we want too. Yet you are military. Yes, we are soldiers, but soldiers can want peace. In fact, we want it more than anyone. We see the cost of war up close. Rena stood up. Counselors, I want to speak. Kess nodded. Captain Rena has the floor. Rena moved to stand beside Hayes. I was afraid of humans, terrified, my whole crew was. We believed the stories, the rumors, the fear. She looked around the chamber. But I was wrong. We were all wrong. Humans are not monsters. They are people. Different from us, yes, but still people. They saved my crew without hesitation, fought to protect us, showed mercy when they could have shown cruelty. Her voice grew stronger. The council prides itself on values, cooperation, compassion, justice. The humans demonstrated all of these, while we watched from fear and judged them without knowing them. More crew members stood. Paul, Quinn, Bryn, Thim, one by one, 47 voices, all saying the same thing. The humans saved them, helped them, protected them. Then an unexpected voice joined them. The pirate, the one Chen had saved. He had been brought to the station under guard. I am called Vex, he said. I am a criminal. I attacked the research vessel. Tried to kill them for profit. The humans stopped me, captured me. I expected execution. Or torture. That is what happens to pirates. He looked at Hayes. Instead, they gave me medical care. When I was dying, their doctor operated for 6 hours to save me. An enemy, a criminal, someone who tried to kill them. They saved me anyway. Vex's voice shook. I do not understand humans. They are strong enough to destroy. But they choose to protect. They could have left me to die, but they chose to save me. What kind of species does that? Hayes answered quietly. The kind that remembers being vulnerable. We know what it is like to be helpless, to need help. So when we have power, we use it to protect others, because someone once protected us. The chamber was silent. Every counselor sat thinking, judging, deciding. Finally, Counselor Vesh spoke. She was ancient, wise, respected. I have a confession. The council has monitored human activities for 20 years. Since their first application for membership, we tracked them, watched them, documented everything. She activated the holographic display. Data scrolled past. Incident after incident, 47 rescue missions, 12 medical interventions, 8 diplomatic resolutions, 0 acts of aggression against council species, 0 violations of space law, 0 crimes. Vesh looked at the assembly. We rejected them 17 times. Not because they were dangerous, but because we were afraid. Fear is easy. Understanding is hard. I suggest we try harder. What are you proposing? Kess asked. A vote. To establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity. Not full membership yet, but recognition, cooperation, a chance to know them instead of fearing them. I second the proposal, Rena said immediately. The vote took 3 hours of debate, but finally it passed. Narrow margin. But passed. Hayes looked stunned. We have diplomatic relations? Provisional, Vesh clarified. Probationary period, but yes. Welcome to the council, Commander Hayes. Hayes smiled. A real smile, showing teeth. And for the first time, Rena saw it not as a threat, but as joy. 6 months had passed since that vote. Rena sat in her new office on the Joint Human Council Research Station, orbiting a neutral moon. Through the viewport, she watched construction crews work on the expanding structure, humans and council species working side by side, building something together. Her door chimed. Come in. Hayes entered, looking tired but happy. She wore a diplomatic uniform now instead of military. Ambassador Hayes, the first official human representative to the council. Busy day? Rena asked. 3 meetings, 4 proposals, 7 cultural misunderstandings to resolve. Hayes collapsed into a chair designed for humans. The station had furniture for everyone now. But progress, actual progress. Rena poured drinks. A human beverage called coffee and a council tea compatible with her biology. They had learned each other's customs over the months. The mining colony on Theta 7 wants human engineering assistance, Hayes said. Apparently our ability to work in toxic environments is useful. You are becoming popular. We are becoming understood. Different thing. Hayes sipped her coffee. Though some species still fear us, cannot blame them. Centuries of isolation, decades of rumors. That does not disappear overnight. It is disappearing slowly. Rena showed Hayes her datapad. Student exchange program approved. 20 human students will study at council universities. 20 council students will visit Earth. Hayes's eyes widened. Earth, they approve that? I thought the atmospheric conditions, they will wear protective gear. But yes, they want to see your homeworld, understand where you come from. That is huge. Hayes looked genuinely moved. Thank you, Rena. I know you have been pushing for this. You saved my life, my crew. The least I can do is help bridge the gap. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. 6 months ago, this would have been impossible. A human and council species. Friends, colleagues, working together. Rena's console beeped. Emergency frequency. Both of them sat up straight. This is research vessel Golden Promise, a panicked voice came through. We are under attack. Unknown vessels. Weapons fire. Hull breaches. Please anyone, we need help. Hayes was already moving. Where? Rena checked the coordinates. Sector 9, 3 hours away at maximum speed. How many ships nearby? Checking. Rena pulled up the tactical display. 2 council patrol ships. 4 hours out. 1 human cruiser. 2.5 hours. Hayes grabbed her communicator. This is Ambassador Hayes to UHSF Defiant. Emergency rescue mission. Authorization diplomatic priority 1. Defiant acknowledges, came the immediate response. Setting course now. Shouldn't you wait for council authorization? Rena asked. Hayes paused. You are right. I should follow protocol. She opened a channel to the council military command. This is Ambassador Hayes requesting permission to dispatch human vessel to rescue Golden Promise. Admiral Kess's voice came through. She had softened considerably over the months. Permission granted. Defiant is closest. They should respond. Thank you, Admiral. Hayes, Kess added. Save them. We will. Rena stood. I am coming with you. Hayes looked surprised. It could be dangerous. That is why I am coming. You need a council observer, witness, someone to verify what happens. Hayes smiled. Get your gear. We launch in 10 minutes. They took a fast courier ship. Human design. Built for speed. The acceleration pressed Rena deep into her specially designed seat. Humans handled the forces easily. She was learning to tolerate them. The tactical display showed the situation. Golden Promise was a small exploration vessel. 20 crew. 3 unknown ships attacking them. Raiders probably. Maybe pirates. Definitely hostile. 2.5 hours, Rena muttered. They may not have that long. Defiant is pushing maximum speed, Hayes said. 2 hours now. Maybe less. They spent the time monitoring communications. Golden Promise fought back, but they were scientists, not soldiers. Their weapons were minimal. Shields failing. Hull breaches spreading. Please, the captain begged over open channels. We surrender. Take our cargo. Just stop shooting. The attackers did not respond, just kept firing. This was not robbery. This was murder. 90 minutes, Hayes said grimly. Then another voice joined the channel. Unfamiliar. Aggressive. Golden Promise, this is the warship Crimson Talon. We have been tracking you for days. Your research data is valuable. We will take it from your corpses. They are not raiders, Rena realized. They are corporate mercs. Trying to steal research. Does not matter who they are, Hayes said coldly. They are attacking helpless people. 60 minutes. Golden Promise went silent. Life support failing. Their last transmission was simple. To anyone listening, we tried. Tell our families we tried. 45 minutes, Rena whispered. Hayes gripped her armrest. Defiant, what is your ETA? 42 minutes, Ambassador. We are pushing engines beyond safe limits. Push harder. Yes, ma'am. The courier ship shook from the speed. Rena's safety harness felt like it was crushing her, but she did not complain. People were dying. 30 minutes. The tactical display showed Defiant approaching. 1 human cruiser against 3 corporate warships. Better odds than the pirate battle, but still dangerous. This is UHSF Defiant to hostile vessels attacking Golden Promise. Ceasefire immediately. You are committing murder in council space. The response was mocking. 1 human ship. We are 3. Leave now and we will let you live. Last warning. Cease fire or face consequences. Make us, Death Worlder. Rena had heard that exact phrase before, from the pirates. It never ended well for the people saying it. Defiant opened fire, not the measured response from before. Not warning shots or disabled systems. Full combat. The humans were angry. 3 corporate ships exploded in the first 30 seconds. Not disabled, destroyed. The mercs had been killing helpless civilians. The humans showed no mercy for that. Golden Promise, this is Defiant. Threats neutralized. We are moving to dock. Prepare for emergency medical assistance. Silence. Then a weak voice. You came. You actually came. Of course we came. Hold on. Help is here. The courier ship arrived just as Defiant finished docking. Rena and Hayes transferred immediately. The scene inside Golden Promise was horrific. Hull breaches everywhere. Bodies floating in zero gravity. 14 dead. 6 barely alive. Human medical teams swarmed through the ship. Dr. Chen was there. She had transferred to the new joint station but responded to this emergency. She worked with desperate intensity, saving everyone she could. 4 more survived. 10 total out of 20. Not good enough, but better than 0. Rena helped where she could, holding injured crew members, keeping them calm, explaining that the humans were helping. Some were too injured to understand. They saw human faces and panicked. It is okay, Rena kept saying. They are friends. They saved you. You are safe now. Slowly, understanding replaced fear. The humans moved gently despite their strength, spoke softly despite their size, saved lives despite having every reason to be cold and distant. The Council patrol ships arrived an hour later, too late to help, but they witnessed the aftermath. Saw humans pulling bodies from the wreckage with reverent care, treating the dead with dignity, comforting the survivors. Admiral Kess herself was on one of the patrol ships. She boarded Golden Promise and found Hayes in the medical bay. Commander, Ambassador Hayes, Kess corrected herself. You arrived before us. Our ship was closer. You destroyed all 3 attackers. They were murdering civilians. We stopped them. Kess looked at the human medical teams working. You could have left. Called for council ships. Followed protocol. People were dying. Hayes said it simply. We do not leave people to die. No, Kess agreed quietly. You do not. I am beginning to understand that. She walked through the ship observing everything. Humans working alongside council species, saving lives together, building trust through action. I owe you an apology, Kess said to Hayes. When we first met, I assumed the worst about you, about all humans. I was wrong. You were cautious. Not wrong to be careful. No, I was prejudiced. I saw what I expected to see instead of what was really there. Kess clicked her mandibles thoughtfully. You are what the council should be. We talk about helping others. You actually do it. We try. You succeed. Kess looked at Rena. Captain, I want you to write a full report on this incident. Include everything. The speed of human response, their effectiveness, their care for the survivors. The council needs to see this. Yes, Admiral. A week later, the council chambers were full again. Every species represented. Maximum attendance. Rena's report had circulated widely. Now they were voting. The motion is to grant humanity full council membership, Councillor Vesh announced. All requirements met. All probationary periods satisfied. Time to vote. The debate was shorter than before. Species that had feared humans now spoke in their favor. The rescue of Golden Promise had been broadcast across council space. Everyone had seen it, humans saving lives, working with council species, destroying those who preyed on the weak, being exactly what they claimed to be, protectors. The vote was not even close. Overwhelming majority. Humanity was now a full council member. Hayes attended the ceremony in person. She stood before the assembly as Vesh spoke. Commander Hayes. Ambassador Hayes. I now simply call you Councillor Hayes. Welcome to full membership in the Galactic Council. Your species has earned this through action, compassion, and unwavering dedication to protecting life. Hayes bowed, human gesture of respect. Thank you, councillors. Humanity is honored. We promise to uphold council values, to protect the weak, to seek peace, to work together with all species toward a better future. We know you will, Vesh said. You have already been doing it. The ceremony ended with a reception. Dozens of species mingling, talking, sharing food and culture. Humans moved among them carefully, still aware of their size and strength. But welcomed now, accepted. Rena found Hayes on a balcony overlooking the station. Below, ships came and went. Council vessels. Human vessels. Working together, how does it feel? Rena asked. Surreal. 20 years of applications. 17 rejections. Now we are full members. Hayes shook her head. I never thought I would see this. You earned it. Your whole species earned it. We just did what felt right. Helped people who needed help. That is exactly why you earned it. Rena clicked her mandibles in amusement. You know what is funny? You are the most peaceful species in the council now. You talk about being death worlders, dangerous predators. But you have not started a single conflict. You only end them, Hayes laughed. Being capable of violence and choosing peace. That is what Earth taught us. We can fight. So we do not have to. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. They stood in comfortable silence watching the traffic below. A new distress call came through. Both their communicators chimed simultaneously. Merchant vessel requesting assistance. Engine failure. Life support critical. Hayes looked at Rena. Want to respond together? Of course. They walked toward the docking bay side by side. Human and council. Different species. Different worlds. Same values, you know, Hayes said. 6 months ago you were terrified of me. 6 months ago I was an idiot. Hayes laughed. You were scared. Not the same thing. Maybe. But I should have listened to your actions instead of my fears. They reached the docking bay. A council ship and a human ship prepared side by side. Joint response. Joint mission. The way it should be. Ready? Hayes asked. Ready, they launched together. 2 ships. 2 species. 1 purpose. Helping those who needed it. Because that is what neighbors do. That is what friends do. That is what the council does. And now, finally, humans were part of it. Not despite being death worlders, but because of it. Because sometimes the strongest make the best protectors. The most dangerous make the best defenders. The universe was a harsh place, full of dangers, full of challenges. But it was also full of people trying to survive, trying to help each other, and now it had humans watching over it. The species that answered every distress call. That saved every life they could. That chose compassion over cruelty despite every reason not to. The death worlders, the protectors, the friends nobody knew they needed, until an SOS went wrong, and everything changed.